What I have here on my phone today is a list of games that I don't think look very good. I think that their looks alone might turn some people away from the game before they've had the chance to play them. And I have ones that I think a lot of you have seen before, and ones that I think maybe you've never seen before. And I'll describe the games to you. I'm not going to show them on screen because I don't want to turn you away from just seeing it and hearing it and then going, I don't think that looks satisfying. I think you should just hear me out, think, does that sound interesting to me? Maybe you've been looking for a new game to get you out of a rut. And I have quite the list here, I think, of some games. And so I'll start by describing one. If you're somebody who enjoyed Schedule 1 and you really enjoyed the idea of like making the perfect operation, of making sure you have the exact machines, the exact people, the exact inputs, and it all runs like a well-oiled machine when you've got your empire running in Schedule 1, or you've just enjoyed really logistics in any game, you like the setting up the perfect thing and then watching it run. For me, like tycoon games growing up on Roblox were big for me. I loved buy one brownie machine, make $1 per minute, then buy a second brownie machine. Now I've doubled my income, but the third one, it's only a third of my income now, and so you're trying to upgrade and get that right. This game features you landing on a alien planet in which you need to get off of it, and the only way to get off of it is to create the industry needed to build a rocket. And to build that rocket, you're going to need a lot of machines. You're going to develop plastics. You're going to develop everything, gears, assemblers, all the machines, and you're going to create this feed the beast moment. If you feed the beast is a good recommendation here, like old Minecraft, Tech It. If you ever played those packs where you like built the machine, you enjoyed watching it mine slowly and create the process of creating all your stuff. That's the fantasy we're chasing here with the game called Factorio. So huge recommendation. It never goes on sale, I apologize to say. So if you're looking to get it on a deeper sale, it never really goes below 30, but I highly recommend it. You can play with friends. It's super fun to learn how to build these factories. There's a video referencing how it gives that same itch as learning to code does, and they both end up with a lot of spaghetti. If you play the game, you'll know what I mean. Next, I have a game. It's a colony sim. So I love colony sims. This one's rather popular, so you've probably seen it. If you're in this genre, you know what I'm about to describe. But you're going to land on a planet. Wow, I guess that's going to be a popular theme here, where you're going to have a group of people. And I like to think of it a lot like XCOM. I love my squad games, or my games where I can name the characters, and then I get to watch them kind of be like ants and run around and do their thing. And this game isn't very pretty, but what you will find attractive, I think, about it is the slow and steady progression towards becoming a competent colony. And so you're going to start from nothing, naked, afraid, and you're going to build to having automated defense turrets, refrigerated things, a medical bay, a prisoner bay. And so like if you enjoyed Prison Architect and you thought that was kind of fun and the graphics didn't bother you, you're right at home with RimWorld. There's a lot of DLC to pick up in the future and a lot of add-ons made by people, so that if you enjoy the Sims kind of gameplay of watching them run around and do their daily life, but you just interact on the macro scale, not the micro, I think you'll enjoy a lot, because you really can zoom in a lot further and be more active, leaving the time at 1 speed and micromanaging everything they do, or you can leave it at 3 speed and watch them build a giant temple for them to pray, or a throne for the guy you're going to make king. You'll see what I mean when you get in there. And I think those kinds of games, these colony sims, tend to look ugly, and I have a few more recommendations on here. So if you like RimWorld, hold on a bit. If you wanted to play DayZ, but you want it to be free, you just like the idea of, ooh, I want to spawn in a world with zombies and then try to survive, but you don't want to spend a lot of money and you want to play with your friends, Unturned is a great game. It's like someone took a Roblox game and made it their own, but they really like DayZ. So it's easily inspired by, I know you can open up your own servers. I don't know how it still is running or who's really taking care of it and what they have in the game nowadays, but back in the day, hopping on there every so often, there's like Battle Royale maps. You could just hop on there when Hunger Games and BR games were not the only ones out there. So you could hop in there and play that. That was a lot of fun. But it's a simple game. It's got simple graphics, but that same fantasy of, ooh, there's an airport. I wonder what I can loot in there. That'd be fun. There's a military base, but it's crawling with zombies. I still want to get in there and try to loot. Fun, simple, free. Caves of Cud. Do you want to adventure around? Think Fallout New Vegas / Apocalypse Place. You are far past the time of man. Now different beasts and everything roam the world, and they all have relationship scores. From the baboons to the plants, they can all speak. You may share your very precious resource of money, which is water. kept in drams, I believe is the measurement they use. So just like a cap full of water could buy you possibly a bullet for your gun, you are going to be either a genetically pure human with cybernetic augments who looks down on those who have mutated from the radiation, or you can be an irradiated man with 3 hearts, a lung, and an evil twin who will hunt you down across the map. If he ever finds you, he will kill you. He is spawning the moment that you start the game in a random location on the map, and he will seek you to kill you. You can teleport yourself into a room, accidentally teleport into a wall and blow yourself up, eat a wall if you'd like to. The options are seemingly endless because the graphics are terrible, which means they can account for anything in the design. So if you want to try Caves of Cud, it is an ASCII, or as close to ASCII as probably people are willing to play nowadays, game. You're going to learn keybinds you've never thought of, but if you can get past it, I think, the games with minimal graphics allow you to imagine. I think there's probably a difference between people who played Final Fantasy VII, I think it is, with Cloud back in the day, and how they felt about story beats in that game versus how people feel playing the new one now with the graphics that tell you how to feel about it. So your investment level may vary. That one's going to be a harder one to get into, but this one I think is a little bit easier if you like this idea of struggling to survive. We have a game where you are nobody, my favorite type of game. You are absolutely Jack Diddley. You are nothing in this world, and it will treat you like so until you're big enough to become maybe somebody. In that case, it might recognize you. You will spend your time, if you're not just a human white man, getting chased around for being exactly so. For being poor, you'll be enslaved. For being strong, you will be fought by people stronger than you. Does it sound like a bad time? Maybe, but do you like Dark Souls games and struggling? I don't think that any game is fun when you start on creative mode. I think that they last for a while. I'm like, ooh, this is a good system. This is kind of fun. But what's more fun is earning every piece of your stuff. I think there's a reason when you launch Minecraft, you start in survival, not creative most of the time. At least if you're like me, maybe it is more play to play creative. But as far as I understand it, people launch survival. My friends don't often invite me to a server where we have free build on. So Kenshi is the name of the game. Is it lovely? No. Is it a well-crafted world with people who care about it? Yes, it's pretty fun to sit in there and just try to, like a crack addict, just mine strip copper just to make enough food for you to eat so you can buy a bed to rest, because yesterday you went out to mine copper and were beaten up by hungry bandits, by 15 of them, no less, not just 1 or 2. They never travel in small bands. If you're waiting for that to happen, you're going to have to get real lucky to find a small band of like those bandits that haven't been eaten alive by something bigger than them. So half the world is uninhabitable, and you need to try to live in it. Have fun. I think it's super cool. Kenshi's a great time. Let's move on to the next one. This is a party game that you can, I think, get on Switch as well. So if you have a couch setup or a TV setup and you want to play something simple and you enjoyed the old Assassin's Creed Brotherhood gameplay where you would try to do the hunting where everyone is like, there's only 5 NPCs in the whole map, but you can blend in with them because you are one of those 5 models. So, it's a room full of nuns and you're trying to find the one people that are actually players. When you can't tell off visuals alone, it's only behavior, it's only watching. There's a game called Hidden in Plain Sight. The game is super simple. It typically features you playing as a player model amongst 5 other ones, and your friends as well, also one of them, and AI moving and walking around. You have to try to blend in with the AI while accomplishing goals. The goals are simple, and typically there's a sniper in most game modes who either you or someone else can shoot an enemy, but if you shoot the wrong one, you lose your bullet, and then maybe they'll just run for the win because of that. It's funny, it's goofy, it's cheap, and it's a fun time. Hidden in Plain Sight. Dominions 5, or Conquest of Elysium. This is a genre of games that honestly I think they're too expensive for what they are because I can't get to the depth that they've been worth it money-wise for me, but I still try and I want to because I think it's a fascinating game that if I could ever get a group of people who find it interesting, it's the type of game that you could spend all day planning your move, execute the move and locking it in, and then you just tell your friends you're done and you set a timer for they have 24 hours to lock in a move once a day. Could take them 5 minutes, could take them an hour. You could scheme and strategize, and the idea of that game is fascinating. The high levels of it seem super cool. The problem is the barrier for entry. If I don't mention to people, maybe I won't find those people out there willing to play and willing to be interested and try it out. So Dominions 5 or Conquest of Elysium, I would say the difference between the two of them is one is you're playing more of a singular god, and the other is more of an army and a faction. So try it, look at the graphics, you'll see it's kind of ugly, but I do have a place in my heart for games where you have one ugly design, but ugly characters but great design, and you have this level of detail you can get to that is almost unattainable. My brain really wants to be the person finally wraps my hand around it and understands it, but I don't think that I'm that person for Dominions 5, not the moment at least. But give it a shot if you like games like CK3, Crusader Kings 3, and you want it to be more just magical and weird and conquesty, where you're going to build armies and you really like the army sending out portion, but you also can do crazy strategies like make the world so hot your opponents can't live, make the world so unlucky that everyone's like facing misfortune every day, but you are spared from it, where you astrally project your god into the enemy's base and scare them away because you're wearing a mask of Medusa. These are things that you can achieve if you learn how to take control of the systems in that game. It's pretty funny. Well, if you like colony sims, this is probably the colony sim of all time. It is Dwarf Fortress. So if you like dwarves and you want to dig yourself a hole and you want to live in it and just really, you're playing a game where you know the goal is to eventually die. I think that's fascinating. Once again, if it's in that idea of you're nobody in the world, you are just there to try to see how long you can survive. The end game is more of a story. It's kind of like a game of Commander, right? They take a long time. It can be a hard game to learn, but you can have fun while losing, while learning. Try out Dwarf Fortress. The reason I bring up the graphics is it recently had an update, which makes it more palatable for people at our age, but it used to be ASCII graphics. And I think it's just a fascinating game. Difficult, once again, to wrap your hands around and play it, but fascinating in what you can do once you know how to play with the systems. You could create a cannibal tribe. There's no cannibal trait in which to take, but you could try to make them cannibals, make it, some sort of, what's the name of it? Amazonian paradise, only female dwarves, only this, and you kidnap people and bring them in there, and they work for you. There's ways I feel like you could do all these things. I just don't know how to do it because I'm not good with the systems, but it's crazy to think you can do like a real colony simulation in this game with almost any factor, only serving beer and seeing if they can still make things. What happens if you only hire poets? Weird, interesting, cool. Give it a shot if you think that sounds fun. We have, if you like SCP Containment Breach and you've been looking for a game that gives you kind of that feeling of skulking around the labs after everything's broken out, Abiotic Factor, not a beautiful game by any means. The graphics are a little rough. The gameplay can be a little weird, but the dream and the vision are very cool and very fun, especially if you like SCP stuff. Abiotic Factor features you being scientists left behind, and the zone, you kind of move through the factory. As I played it, I feel like it's more like zones. Like you're first in the offices, then you're in the R&D department, then maybe there's a portal leading somewhere else to another something that you're going to have to solve when you just have staplers and paper to work with. But you're a scientist, you'll figure it out. Band of Brothers. Do you like XCOM but want it to be fantasy? War Tales is a similar game to it. If you enjoyed War Tales but are looking for something a little different, a little bit more hardcore and difficult, then give Band of Brothers a try. I think it's probably one of the least forgiving games in this list. It can be hard if you're not used to XCOM where you die, but if you like Iron Man modes in your XCOM game, things like that where it kind of ends because you lose. That's how I've played XCOM every time. I've always tried to beat it in Iron Man mode so that when I name my character and they die and I go to the memorial, it means something, not just like hire a new guy and it's done. I think it's a lot of fun to mess around with those games and play in a mode where when it's over, it's over. It's cathartic. It's fun. It means that if you have a 20-hour game, it really meant something. If you have a 5-hour one, it was fun for the day. Or, of course, save scum, have your joy, how you find it. But if you want to play a squad-based game where you're a group of mercenaries in a pretty unforgiving fighting and world environment with an apocalypse on the rise, it's coming. You're just going to see how you deal with it when it gets there. Then try out Band of Brothers. Here's one. This is just like an honorable mention. Throwing it in here. Graphically, I think it's actually great. It's a free game. It's fun. Christmas time is around the corner. Everybody wham wham. You're going to go in and join a snowball or a snowman building competition. There's some cute indie music in there. It's fun. Play Everybody Wham Wham. It's really just what I saw while going through my list. Fear and Hunger Termina. Gross art when you get into the battle, but otherwise just your normal RPG Maker type of game. But I think this one goes a little bit beyond. If you like Eldritch Horror and you really want to see a game that's like, I would describe as the most effed up pixel art game I've seen, give it a try. I don't really get into these types of games, but it was almost that train wreck you can't look away from. I didn't get far. I didn't play as much as I wish I did of this game because it was too difficult for me, and I'm not the type to get into that system. And a horror game is not very cozy to me, but maybe you'll find the fascination that people do when they play this game. If not, just playing it to get the lore videos later is a lot of fun. We also have Yomi Hustle. This is going to be a game where you're going to play a fighting game turn-based style. So if you like fighting games, even maybe just from like a standpoint of like they fascinate me, but I would never, because you just don't have the reaction times. Especially if you've ever learned like what DI means in Smash Brothers, this is probably a game that would interest you a little bit. It's $5. Play with a friend, turn on whatever settings you want. But the fun part is at the end, if you like the old stick fighting videos, it will play your fight at full speed, and it can be really fascinating. You just have to be willing to get caught in a combo in a game that's turn-based. It could be kind of boring, but if your friend's fast at picking their moves, or you set a good timer, then you can have a fun time playing it. It's not like an everyday thing, but maybe it is for you. I played Tory Bash when I was a kid, but I didn't, stick with it. Next, we have a game where you are a nameless adventurer amongst many others. The grind in this game is long, and you can play it for a long time. There is a subscription model for this game, and you may know what I'm talking about, which is RuneScape. This is an MMO that stood the test of time. People actually begged for the old version back with the lesser graphics. Once again, graphically, I find it charming. You may find it poor, but if you've not tried it and you've had the idea of, man, it'd be fun, a game where, you've watched some sort of isekai or I live in a video game anime, and you're like, man, it'd be really cool if I achieved a legendary weapon that no one else had. You're not going to have that happen to you, but you can play on Iron Man mode where if you have it, there's a level of respect people will have for seeing you with certain items. They're like, oh, you're a real player. You're that. It may seem small to some people who are really deep in the sauce, but to you, every item you earn and every item you can gain and get the money for is a lot of fun to share and brag about, especially if you have friends playing the game that you can show off to. If you've got a group that you want to get into RuneScape, I suggest getting into it. Maybe try Iron Man mode up front. It's just pretty fun. It results in a more old school experience where everything you earn feels good. You can make a group Iron Man where you play with some friends and share a bank. It's a pretty interesting game to play, and by playing on Iron Man, your money is not subject to the economy of the game. It's subject to just your effort and what you want to try, and I don't think you need as much in Iron Man as you do outside of it, because you can kind of skip things by buying it with just gold that you earned off of maybe a mini game you're way too good at, and then you get to skip a lot of the stuff. But I think it's a lot more fun to play in the Iron Man mode, or at least I've enjoyed it more. I like having both accounts, but there's something better about knowing I don't need a grind for money because I can't skip this next grind. I'm going to just have to buckle down, do it, and when I get the reward, the one time you get it, like I said in those animes where they get this special super secret item, you're never going to have to get that item again. You got it. You earned the sword of so-and-so. You never have to fight 3 hours to 100 hours to get that sword again. You've earned it, and now you can forever return to that piece of equipment, and it will always be good to you. It's not like a lot of games where they stop being good. I'm going to kind of rapid fire these last ones. I'm going to give just a quick what they are and why you might like them. Valheim, do you like Vikings? Did you like RuneScape and that you could jump and you could get a point, or you could hit a tree and engage a little level up sound for congratulations, you're a woodcutter level 2. Valheim is like Minecraft meets RuneScape graphically. I think you'll see what I'm saying when you get in there. It's pretty fun. It's a really fun game to build your town, watch it, grow, and adventure. And it's pretty difficult. There's ways to cheese it if you don't want to do the hard stuff, but it's single player. It's fun. I'm sure there's cool RP servers online now. It's a very good looking game in the sense of it's charming. It's just charming. I guess good looking isn't the word. It's a charming game though. Song of Six, you want to play RimWorld, but you want to build at a gigantic city scale. So you're going to be like enacting policies and things like that through building and designing your town for readying for sieges and become a colonial powerhouse. So kind of like the end game of RimWorld, but hundreds and thousands of people instead of 20 being like max. I'm not going to late game RimWorld, but it feels like 50 people is a lot in that world. And in Song of Six, 1,000 is a lot. It's a good amount. Outward, do you like Dark Souls? Do you like games that are unforgiving? And do you like just kind of that old school choose your own adventure kind of game? It's not necessarily as story based as that, but it feels like that kind of world where it was made in a different time, and it's fun to experience with a friend. Once again, theme of these games, friends always make games better, in my opinion. So hop in that world, go be punished for playing, and learn how to get around those things. It's pretty cool. Dungeon of the Endless This is just an old school game. I think it was remastered on the PS5 recently, or like a different version or follow up. It's pretty fun. It's kind of like a Risk of Rain style game in the beginning, but more tower defense. Like Risk of Rain original, not the new one, by the way. It's pixel art. Go into the ship, work your way to the bottom instead of fight these way through levels, find the teleporter, and leave. It's similar. It's like a mix of Bloons Tower Defense and Risk of Rain. Maybe that's the best way to describe it. We have Mountain Blade Fire and Sword. I bring up Fire and Sword because this one's particularly ugly, and Warband had a new like texture release with the Viking update. I forget what it's called. War Sails? No, that's coming to Bannerlord. But Mountain Blade, great game series in general. Fire and Sword I like a lot because there's just this fun world where we're still knights on sword. We're still knights. Swords and shields are still great, but now there's flintlocks, and there's a really cool moment whenever you siege your first caravan where you notice they circle up so they can like defend themselves from a charge from horses, and then they're just firing. You see the smoke begin to plume. It's really cool. I think that one's one that I go back to and play even though the graphics are poor because it's just so fun to mess around with. Otherwise, I'm going to kind of go through these really quick. Vampire Survivors, just play it. I can't recommend that one more than it's cheap. It can be on your phone. You'll get it really quick. It's fun and it's simple. It is classic. If it was an arcade machine, you would dump quarters in it. It is cheaper than that because you can play it infinitely once you buy it. Return of the Obra Dinn, unique art style, one of the best whodunit / investigation games I've ever played. I don't want to give any spoilers, honestly. Just play that one. Cryptmaster. If you like Typing of the Dead, you like dungeon crawlers, and you like any game that has like Stanley Parable, like a dramatic, fun, interesting narrator, play this game. Very unique. I don't think I know another game like it. But typing is very important. Lethal Kerbal Space Program. If you ever had any interest in building a rocket, or like just like played a game that had a mod where you're like, oh, stage 1 will go off, stage 2 will go off, and you just find any sort of NASA or space thing cool, Kerbal Space Program, cheap, easy, and fun. And lastly is Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, one of the best Star Wars games from a story perspective, in my opinion. It's just got the best version of like taking someone and watching them become good or evil, both in your companion side and your own, with a dramatic ending and one of the best reveals, I think, in gaming for the time. But if you've heard about it now, I'm sure other games have done the similar reveal. But if you don't know what reveal I'm talking about, and you like Star Wars, old school version of it, it's kind of that game I like where you build up the characters and they kind of auto battle and you just give light direction. I think that Pokemon would almost be my ideal game if it wasn't just a JRPG. I've heard that moreover now it's more like Pikachu's Thunderbolt and you actually watch it happen versus locking in moves in ZNA. But I think the ideal world of Pokemon is I do train it. I do like little games with this Pokemon and then it learns the moves, and then when I go out all I have to do is yell to use special moves, but otherwise it kind of auto battles based on how I've trained it. Like the idea of amiibos training and fighting was super cool when that came out on Smash Brothers. So that's really it. If you have any questions about other ugly games or other games I play, because for some reason our opinions align, let me know in the comments down below. But beyond that, thank you all for watching and have a great day. I hope one of these games ends up being a lot of fun for you. And if it's not, try D&D. It's the best. Peace.